This video is for those of you who want to learn more about whole house water filtration. Whether you're on city water or well water, many of these concepts will apply. We're going to talk about how they get plumbed into your house, how they function, and what kind of maintenance is involved. So, without further ado, let's get started. We've got water entering the house here. That's the main shutoff valve. You can't see it, but the line comes this way and it reaches this small manifold. We have the pool here. We have various outside hose bibs and things that we have decided we do not want the treatment system going to. Now, before I move on and go down here, I want to point out there's a T right there. Comes up this way and over this way. That is our bypass valve. Just in case the system goes offline for whatever reason, we can bypass the system and the whole house still gets water. Now, it's going to be untreated water, of course, but at least we will have something. All right, moving on. We're coming down this way, and I've put in a valve right here so that we can isolate the system. We follow it this way and we reach this piece of equipment. This is a granular activated catalytic carbon filter. It removes, now I should mention this house is on city water, and catalytic carbon is going to remove a lot of the things that either come from the water plant or things that the water plant just doesn't have the ability, the infrastructure is not in place to treat for. So just to name a few things that catalytic carbon removes, we're talking about chlorine, ammonia, chloramines, PFAS, also known as forever chemicals. They've been in the news a lot lately. Organics, pesticides, disinfection byproducts, tastes and odors. The list goes on and on for catalytic carbon. We use this media for a wide range of applications in the water treatment industry. So let's talk a little bit about how this system functions. Water enters through that tailpiece here. It then flows down through the tank. There are several cubic feet of carbon inside the tank, and as water flows down, it makes lots of contact with the carbon. This is where the adsorption, the filtration, the removal of contaminants is taking place. When it reaches the bottom, it enters a distributor tube. It enters the tube and then flows back up the tank and exits the other tailpiece and continues on to our ultraviolet light system. Now, before we talk about that, you might be wondering why we have this big control valve at the top here, and what is this pipe for? The carbon reaches a capacity that we program, and we tell the control valve, hey, look, we've reached a capacity. We want you to backwash. We want you to, the process is called regeneration. This system is self-cleaning in that regard. It regenerates itself usually in the middle of the night when nobody is using water, but we can tell it to regenerate whenever we want. So during that process, a piston moves in the control valve, and we now have various gateways that have opened and closed. So basically what it does is it reverses the flow of water. Water flows down that distributor tube and up the media, stirring it, cleaning it, breaking loose contaminants, and sending them to a waste stream. So follow this with me real quick. This is our drain line. We have it sloping into the house's drain waste plumbing system. Now this right here is an air gap. We have it there for safety reasons. It's also code in many counties. Its purpose is just in case there is a sewage backup, water will exit through this opening, right? Because water takes the path of least resistance. We want it to do that instead of traveling back and cross-contaminating our water supply. I hope that makes sense. Let's simulate a backwash. Let me put this down. I'm going to manually regenerate it. But remember, the valve does this automatically. It has a meter, and it regenerates based on the volume of water that you use. Now for this particular filter, the regeneration process lasts for 20 minutes. And then it goes back into service. Just like that. Now, let's talk about this. This is our ultraviolet light sterilizer. This canister is a 5-micron filter. It's simply a sediment filter with a 5-micron reduction. This is where our ultraviolet light bulb is housed. It's a special light bulb that is achieving a very specific frequency of light, a very specific wavelength, which destroys microorganisms. The carbon filter does not filter out microorganisms. So that's why we have put this in place. Ultraviolet light disables the ability of bacteria, viruses, fungi, all living organisms that are in the water. It disables their ability to reproduce, which basically means they're dead. The UV system has a ballast. On camera, it's blinking, but it's actually not blinking. That says 364. This system was installed a day ago, and that's simply a day timer. It's going to count down because our light bulb is good for 1 year. So that's the maintenance on this system. We come out once a year and change out the light bulb. The maintenance on this is usually even less frequent. Because it's a self-cleaning filter, the carbon should be effective for anywhere from 2 to 4 years. on average. And then we come out and we rebed the tank. After leaving the UV light, we've got our outlet valve. This is just another isolation valve. Once it goes through the valve there, it gets distributed throughout the rest of the house. Now this is water before it reaches this tankless water heater. So we have filtered water going to the tankless water heater, and then it becomes filtered hot water. Now maybe you can appreciate that we take pride in making these systems look pleasing to the eye. Yeah, we're in a mechanical room, but it can still look good. And pipes get strapped to the wall. Cords get strapped to the wall. We don't do loose cords, we don't do loose cables. You can turn this valve, these pipes are not gonna move. We don't do vibrating pipes, banging on walls, making noise, and fittings becoming loose. When you invest in a water treatment system with Liberty Water Purification, it's gonna last, and it's gonna take care of you. If you have any other questions, give me a call. My name's Justin. It's been a pleasure.